crazy man running around my castle. This is disastrous. Where is the body? We cannot get it from him, my lord. And where is he? Right there, my lord. Hamlet, where is Polonius?
He's being eaten by worms. A body can be eaten by a worm, then a worm by a fish, then by a man again.
What?
You could send a messenger to heaven or seek him in hell yourself.
Where is he?
He's under the stairs.
Go search for him there. Hamlet, we are sending you to England.
Yay!
Make sure he goes where he's supposed to.
Oh, honey, what are we going to do now?
That crazy man is so dead.
So, appearance versus reality is a big thing in Scene 3. It's a real big thing in the entire play, but it's also a good thing to focus on here. So, some things you could focus on in here is, in this kind of time era, science and religion really do clash. And there's the kind of appearances versus reality, religion versus science, that clashes in that. Hamlet's acting toward insanity is always a good one. The idea of a loving family, it's not, you think, yeah, they're all close. It's not that hard to figure out, but it's there. And the idea of Claudius being the one who's actually got all the mojo power going for him. So we'll start with kind of how religion versus... Lost my train of thought. Religion versus science kind of is appearance versus reality. So, keep in mind that this is presumably around the 1600s. So that's the 17th century, if that works better for you. Religion's a huge thing in those kind of times. You don't mess with death. Death is very symbolic. Very, very symbolic. It's just kind of, you're put into the ground and your soul is released to the heavens. That's kind of what goes on. Hamlet goes into a lot more depth. He talks about how Polonius is being eaten by worms on this little world. And he talks about how a worm can eat a body, and then a body is, or the worm that ate the body is then eaten by a fish, and then a fish is eaten by a man, and that kind of calls on how a man is possible to eat a man. Not looked upon highly by the church at all. Appearance versus reality. It's not that the church doesn't maybe believe in that, it's just that they don't focus on it, because church and science have never gotten along. Galileo's a great example of that. He was locked in his house, went blind looking at the sun. Anyway, the idea of a loving family. Conversation between Hamlet and Claudius. It kind of gives off the aura that Claudius is just looking out for Hamlet, because he's a bit distraught, maybe a little loopy. And this father-uncle is looking after his nephew-son thingy. No, it's not that hard to figure out. The conversation's really kind of a hidden conflict. That's my electric. I don't know. It's both of them are becoming more self-aware of how this conflict is rising, and they have to keep up their personas as this loving father king and this distraught prince, just to kind of survive. But Claudius, the king, he has some difficulty with that. He's coming out of his shell a bit, and it shows. And that's another thing. Despite Hamlet being supposedly at the king's mercy, because the king is the one who has all the power, Hamlet shows a lot of power in their conversation. He's the one who seems to have the floor. He's got the control. And that's shown throughout the play. And it's shown in this scene as well. Hamlet's got full control of the situation. He's really unpredictable, leaving the king kind of a disadvantage. Like, what's he thinking? I can't get into his head. Any king would worry about that. If you can't get into someone's head, that's scary. When you're the king and you don't know what someone's thinking, that's... Which is why the king, lovely uncle man, father, don't know, calls for the death of Hamlet, his execution. But like I said, he has to keep up his persona as a nice king. So he sends him off to have him privately killed in England, which is always nice. And the king's actions toward Hamlet also show some appearance versus reality. Well, the king, Claudius is not at all like his brother Hamlet, King Hamlet. And the king's actions toward Prince Hamlet kind of show how his value of the throne is to him. He killed his brother for it. It wouldn't be out of the question for him to kill Hamlet either. And some of the differences between King Hamlet and King Claudius is King Hamlet was this great warrior that was the defeater of the King of Norway. And Claudius isn't. He's a deceiving, mastermind individualist who manipulates anyone and everything that he can to get his own way. He wanted his brother's wife, he got her. He wanted his brother's throne, he got it. There's not much that he can't do to get what he wants. And another thing is, like I said, you can't tell if Hamlet is actually going insane or not. It's hard to tell that if he's acting or if he's... Whoa! Like, Hamlet's realized, he's killed Polonius, which was not a part of his plan. And things are going to escalate because of that. And it's going to go... It's going to escalate. Like an escalator. Hamlet and Claudius are in this kind of coexistence, like Harry and Voldemort. That's not a good example. It's the best I can come up with. Neither can live while the other survives. One is going to have to kill the other. That is a reality. It's going to come to a confrontation. And the two are going to have to just play it out. Make their best plans to survive. The difference is Hamlet's all on his own. Claudius has got Gertrude, which is a bit sad, since Gertrude is Hamlet's mom. But back to Hamlet. Hamlet's insanity could be a very realistic thing. After all, he's killed someone, and now his life is at stake because of it. If it wasn't already before, like he was already in deep the moment he decided to even think about killing Claudius. And now he's actually killed someone, which raises the stakes. And if you knew that at any moment you could die, that kind of pressure of knowing that you could die and you have to fight for your life, and any kind of the smallest slip up could just have you dead. That's... I could push you to go a little insane. Something to think about.